giving them this mentorship, such as entrepreneurship mentorship, it's also to encourage them to say, look, there's a lot of opportunities, but you don't see them because you don't have the opportunity. So we give you the opportunity to start your own businesses. We're not saying that we're going to force people to start their own businesses, but we give them some light to understand that the only way for you to actually be the better person is for you to start being your own better person. People are not yet aware of the opportunities that are available out there. Even if they, and some of the people, they still don't believe much. When you spoke of AI, you spoke of for industrial revolution. A lot of people did not really believe in it. So I feel like as South Africans, we just a lot of funny stuff. They trend faster.
Yeah, true.
They trend faster, and they are more popular faster than important content and important information. So we offer a digital literacy and web designing program for people or for young people that cannot access education, where you have to go to TUT and get funded, because they can't get funded either way, or maybe go to college and get funded. So we give them free programs that will give them these skills. But a lot of them, when we advertise, they just look at them and pass, but then
The Groundbreakers, Mondays to Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. on TUT FM.
Just about that particular time where you need to start switching off your television and taking your pen and paper, listening attentively to the conversation and begin to ask the question, because we are bringing in, as I always say, the top of the tree, and we explore various conversations, whether we are talking engineering, aviation, anything you want to talk about. We have the right sort of sources from which to draw great inspiration. And tonight we have none other than our guest here, Tinyiko Mabale, who's the founder and executive director at iMentorU Foundation. So we're going to explore a bit more about his journey. But let me put it to you that this man believes in empowering and inspiring others through the skills and the passion that he has. With over 6 years of experience in software development, mentoring, tutoring, and leadership, he's still leaving an indelible mark on the tech industry and beyond across Africa, South Africa, Kenya, and Mozambique. He's the founding and executive director and group chief executive officer of NTID Group of Companies Pty Ltd, NTID Technologies Pty Ltd, NTID Hosting Pty Ltd. He's also the executive director and chairperson of iMentorU Foundation, director of iEasy Tutor U Academy. It is about tutoring and computing. He's also the director of NTID Properties Pty Ltd, and a partner to some of the projects and companies such as Gujia Kenya Government, Shango Girls Mozambique, Africa Connect Online, South African College of Applied Psychology, and American Corner that specializes in software development, youth development, psychology, mentoring, and educational support. He says his inspirational motto is do what you love what you do, and be your own inspiration. Now, his academic background in information technology and computer science provides a solid foundation for his endeavor, while his relentless drive and unwavering dedication are earning him the respect and admirations of peers and mentees alike. This is quite a glowing acknowledgement of your contribution. So on the line to us now, with a bit of a smirk on his face, you can tell your journey has been quite inspiring. Tinyiko Mabale on the line to us. What a pleasure to have a conversation with such a clean source of perfect advice. Good evening, Tinyiko, and welcome to Plug a Graduate.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
No, I certainly cannot complain. Yours is quite a glowing tribute written here. But it is certain aspect that I want to explore briefly, perhaps your journey. There's a couple of things I want to explore briefly around your business. We'll also get into youth development and mentorship, a space within which you've acquired some great deal of excellence as well. But let's start at the top of our conversation, though, Tinyiko. When did you start this? I see that there are a lot of companies that you are heading and offering leadership to. But let's start with when you started the business. Which of the businesses, an array of business ventures really that you have, was the first? When did it start, and what motivated that?
So the first one that I started, it was NTID Group. It was actually NTID Technologies, but then I would say it was NTID Group because I actually started a company at first with some gentlemen. Then I had to leave the company. Then I had to start in my own company, which is the NTID Group. At first, it was just NTID, whereby I was trying to look into how can I gain my own experiences before I finish my qualifications. So it was more about getting the experience by myself instead of waiting for someone to come and give me the experience, because I understand, in South Africa, it's very difficult to get experience, especially after graduating. You would say, I want to graduate first and then I'll get the experience, but then it's difficult. The moment you see the reality by the time you graduate, that no, man, I'm staying at home. There's no internships, there's no programs that are offering graduates. Even if they are, when you apply, you don't get the chance to be taken or to be accepted. So for me, it was more about, let me get the experience by myself instead of waiting for someone to give me the experience, the skills, and also the knowledge that I need to acquire before I can get the actual job.
And of course, I'm asking this on behalf of students. You are saying perhaps it's a bit more dangerous to sit there and wait, get activities, get busy, which is where the subject of volunteerism squeeze in terms of how important that is in keeping you busy and active.
That's correct. Because even myself, I started with volunteering. My first job when I volunteered, it was social coding, whereby we were teaching young kids coding and robotics. Now, social coding is a very big organization. Then I went to Africa 10 Gigs, whereby I was a facilitator or a programming mentor. We were also teaching kids how to code, how to develop games and all that. And then I was promoted into being a liaison officer, but as a volunteer. And for that, if you check my CV now, I mean, it shows that I've been doing something. It also contributed to my CV and my resume as well. And also, it gave me the opportunity to, by the time I get to start my own things and I approach people and say, look, this is what I've been doing and this is what I'm busy doing and this is what I'm focusing on, they did not even hesitate. They don't question because they can see that I've been doing something.
And look at the background behind you. It's your idea. iMentorU. I can see you have that behind your back as well. But the reason why I'm going to ask this question is to precisely lay a foundation here, just so we get into a particular entrance where I want to challenge you, especially being a company owner, about what you are doing, then to change the landscape, having seen what you have seen in terms of challenges. What were the challenges that you had to face in maneuvering the space and getting to where you are now?
The challenges are mostly, sometimes you get to approach people. Some people believe you, some people don't really believe you, but some will tell you, some will not tell you. They will just be like, we see that you have the idea and this is where you're going, but do you think this will work? You get people that have the questions of, do you think this will work out? But then if you know what you want and you understand why you are starting whatever that you are starting, then you won't be discouraged by those kind of words. You will push and push and push until you get to where you're going. Even if, like for myself, iMentorU Foundation is this month is we're celebrating 7 years of existence. So throughout these years that we've passed, there's still challenges that we face, and there's also learning. There's more learning than just challenges. So we take it as, okay, this was a learning curve, so we're gonna take it and we will utilize it to improve ourselves.
All right, but knowing what you now know, knowing the challenges that students would face coming out of institutions of higher learning, how they don't even know where opportunities are, and being at the helm of an institution now, which is your brainchild, what are you doing in your space then to create opportunities so that these students don't have to go through the rough patch, for a lack of better word, that you had to go through?
So what we do is we do mentorship and youth development. We mentor we start from high school or primary school. We adopt schools whereby we offer these services of mentorship and training to them, so that we give them more knowledge and the resources that they need before they can even go to varsity. By the time for those that are already in varsity, what we do is we partner with organizations or institutions that are like colleges or TUT or any other institutions that are focusing on certain qualifications or programs. So by partnering with them, we offer work integrated learning for students, and we give them the experience and the skills, as well as connecting them with the people that are in their field of studies. Fortunately, we've partnered with a lot of organizations, not only in South Africa, but other countries as well. Even now, we are still in process of partnering with organizations like Kenya, Uganda, Ghana, Namibia, Zambia, Eswatini, Nigeria, Liberia, Germany, and we also implementing some of our programs in countries like Mozambique, Uganda, Zimbabwe. So we get also people that are interested to say, you know what, the same issues that you're experiencing in South Africa, we're also experiencing them. Can we take these programs and utilize them or facilitate them in our countries? So what we do is we offer the mentorship. Once we have students that are coming into our programs, which is work integrated learning program, we also mentor them. We don't just let them, stay there and volunteer, because we understand a lot of people are looking for jobs. They're not looking to work for free. They're looking for jobs. So we give them the skills and the experience that they need. By the time we have opportunities from other organizations or companies that are hiring, then we open doors for them. We collaborate with those organizations or companies, then we collaborate with them.
All right, let me take a quick break. But before I do that, though, you seem to have mentioned TUT, but by way of example. Let me check this, because I'm a TUT boy, so to speak. Do you have a direct arrangement with the institution? And if you don't, I would suggest you must begin to make that call now. Do you have a direct arrangement, direct agreement with the institution?
Not really the direct, but what I've done is I've mentored a lot of TUT IT students through companies, through certain companies. So what we've been doing is we've been trying to get into a certain, like myself, I'm a software developer, so I've communicated with a lot of coordinators that are facilitating or coordinating the work integrated learning. I know most of them. So the idea is to make sure that we have a direct partnership with TUT, VUT, those institutions. At the moment, it's mostly colleges like Rosebank, Boston, Metasolve, and other colleges that we are partnering with directly.
We'll take a break. You should start making direct arrangement. After all, the vice chancellor of this institution is also Tinyiko. That should be very easy to arrange. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back after this. All right. It, of course, is the Plug a Graduate feature. We are TUT FM. We are 96.2. We amplify voices and empower lives. And tonight we do have Tinyiko Mabale, who's the founder and executive director at iMentorU Foundation. Now, let's get to this particular space because you've been across the continent with the work that you do. And today I want us to go back to our conversation, which is youth development and mentorship. I find this to be a particularly important discussion because youth, after all, need all the resources to face what looks like very uncertain future. What is youth development? What do we mean by that from your understanding? You've been in that space, perhaps would have a more clearer explanation of that.
So when we talk of youth development, we are talking of the empowerment of youth, ensuring that that the society and the communities, or maybe like, let me say, the community members that are within the communities, they are empowering the youth, and they ensure that the youth are getting more opportunities, they're getting more resources to develop themselves, to grow, and also to get more skills and experiences. So with us, youth development is mostly on a personal level, social level, educational level. So we mentor the youth to ensure that they develop themselves, whether personally, professionally, or in societally. So we focus more on education, leadership as well. And also getting involved in the community projects. That is to help them develop themselves, understanding what their communities are requiring, and also what are the needs of their resources, their communities, so that they can be able to improve in terms of engagement, careers, and personal issues as well.
All right. So why is it important? I see you are mentioning a number of things. So it is not just one aspect here that constitute youth development. There are layers and categories to it. All combined will lead to the overall development we are talking about. You are mentioning the social aspect of it. You are mentioning the educational aspect of that. But how do you suggest this could be done? Already it looks like it needs a multifaceted approach. How do you then empower youth holistically, so to speak?
What we believe in at the moment is through volunteering, is through community services. We also focus on mental health and well-being of the youth as well, to see how are they developed in terms of their mental health and well-being, or wellness, maybe, if I can put it that way, because a lot of them don't see growth because they are affected mentally, So for us to say now we are to put you into a program that will develop you, we focus on those. We focus on civic engagements, which will encourage them to participate in community services, activism, decision making, problem solving, so that they have open mind, and they can also see themselves within or fitting into the communities. With leadership, also, some of them, we mentor them into starting their own companies, or start being entrepreneurs. We offer them entrepreneurship and mentorship, so that they can stop crying about jobs. They always cry, we don't have jobs. So giving them this mentorship, such as entrepreneurship mentorship, it's also to encourage them to say, look, there's a lot of opportunities, but you don't see them because you don't have the opportunity. So we give you the opportunity to start your own businesses. We're not saying that we're going to force people to start their own businesses, but we give them some light to understand that the only way for you to actually be the better person is for you to start being your own better person.
When issues of youth development, words like that are being bandied about, it sounds like just hot air. It comes across as quite meaningless without putting it into use practically. Now, do we have examples of how, if youth development is implemented well, how it could change the landscape and how it could work for the better? Do we have such examples at the very least?
Examples, I wouldn't know. When you say examples, are you talking about people that have
Have
succeeded,
achieved. Yes, yes,
have
that's
achieved
exactly what I'm
certain
referring to. Yes,
programs? I'm one of them. I would say
yes,
I'm one
yeah,
of them. I'm
yeah,
an example
yeah.
of a youth development. Look, I've came across a lot of people. Some of them are successful. Some of them have been trying their best. And I've been following up on how they are doing certain things, their decision making, their processes, and all that. And I've learned a lot from them. And they did not close doors for me. They made sure that I learn a lot of things. They empower me. They also gave me certain tools that I could use to get to where I am today.
I'm in conversation with Tinyiko Mabale, founder and executive director at iMentorU Foundation. This conversation will continue right up until the hour 9. If you want to engage with us in this conversation, you can just simply send us either your question or your comment on 012 382 9257. We're heading towards the hour 8. Pololo Madisa will step in at the top of the hour with the news. Let's take a quick turn. We're back in a jiffy. We are slap bang into the second hour, a second hour of which you should make an opportunity. Engage with us on 012-382-9257. And don't forget, we are also coming to you live on our Facebook page. We are TUTFM 96.2. And of course, on the line, we do have our guest tonight. He's none other than Tinyiko Mabale, who is the founder and executive director at iMentorU Foundation. And tonight we are talking youth development and mentorship. It's a very, very important space. Perhaps at one stage, I'll probably get more into the mentorship part of things as to what role it played in having a Tinyiko we now see and know. But let's start here, though, in terms of Tinyiko, how institutions of higher learning, because things have changed. Things are moving forward, and it appears to me that we're going to need new skills. Even institutions of higher learning at one stage need to jump in on the bandwagon, all hands on deck sort of approach. I mean, how do institutions of higher learning take part in ensuring that programs that they do have, even the tutoring that is there at higher education, is tailored and aligned towards youth development? It's a very deep question if you get the gist of that.
Yeah, it is, but I'll tell you from the experience that I've just witnessed this week. So Monday, I was invited at Rosebank, right? And they had a career day for software development students, whereby they're now inviting software development or IT experts or the industry aspects in software development, and also other courses, because I've seen their schedule. It's also with other courses as well. So this is like institutions are seeing the need for the development of their students. They're bringing opportunities for their students, and also supporting the students in terms of getting them into certain programs that will help them understand the real world. Organizations like the ones that I've or institutions that I've mentioned that we partner with, when they approach us or we approach them, the partnership, it's more of an upskilling program or partnership. The upskilling partnership, whereby they instead of students going and looking around, because also we've received a lot of emails. You asked if we are in direct contact with TUT. We do receive a lot of emails from TU2 students who want to do their work integrated learning, or they want to have internships, and it's that process. It's very stressful, because you go into companies, you go into organizations, you want to apply, whether you say you want to volunteer or you need a job. Some organizations will just deny your application. But if the institutions are actually making means that they are partnering with organizations like iMentorU Foundation, and then they just say, you know what, we have 5 students that we want to place into your organization. Can you please provide them with this and this and this and this? This is what we expect. So that way, it helps the student not to stress too much. Already they're stressing about their academics. So now having to stress about where am I going to get a job after this and I get experience. I feel like they're doing a good job now. Some TUT, I know that you also place students into companies with CETA.
Yes. Yeah.
So instead of students having to look for companies, you actually place them. You say, we have 20 students. Can you please train them? And then CETA will be involved in that. So yeah, there's a lot of improvement. Before it was tough. It was tough. You graduate, you struggle, you sit down, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a lot in terms of youth development and students development as well.
And I think it should be encouraging for young people to know that opportunities are there if they are willing to take those. And I also like the fact that you've crisscrossed the African continent. You would be well aware of the trends. You would be well aware of where we are in comparison with our continental or global counterpart if it comes to that particular point. How are we faring, though, in terms of how we are taking care of our young people and developing them?
I wouldn't say we are failing. People are not yet aware of the opportunities that are available out there. Even if they, you know, and some of the people, they still don't believe much. You know, when you spoke of AI, you spoke of for industrial revolution. A lot of people did not really believe in it. So I feel like as South Africans, we just a lot of funny stuff. They trend faster.
Yeah, true.
They trend faster and they are more popular faster than important content and important information. So I feel like as South Africans, whether we are young or you're old, we are the same. We do the same thing. The way we process things, we take long to process. By the time we now process that, there was an opportunity, already those opportunities have passed. So I wouldn't say we are failing, because we are doing a lot of things. As iMentorU Foundation, we partner with the American Spaces. I don't know if you know them, from the American Embassy. We partner, and now we're getting into partnership with the City of Tshwane because we understand that there's a lot of people that cannot access our programs. So we offer a digital literacy and web designing program for people or for young people that cannot access education, where you have to go to TUT and get funded, because they can't get funded either way, or maybe go to college and get funded. So we give them free programs that will give them these skills. But a lot of them, when we advertise, they just look at them and pass, you know. But then, and by the time they see other people graduating, they'll be like, but you did not invite us. So we are not failing. I don't think we are failing. I don't think there's anyone that is offering opportunities is failing. The only thing that is failing is us as individuals. We are failing to process information. We are failing to process imported information, and to grasp that imported information, and also to utilize it as well.
And for young people, I'm tempted to believe this because obviously we've had Pontsonage made the similar view that Tinyiko is making. We've also heard from Tabolanga Lebalele, who made the similar views that opportunities are there. And you are not taking your chances. You are not applying. Even if you do, you are not following instructions. And all these are quite important in terms of making sure that if you want that opportunity, you've got to really try and look at what is being required there, and learn from the best people that we try and arrange on a platform like this on a Wednesday to try and draw you closer to the opportunities and bridge that gap between opportunities that we are told are there waiting, and you are there looking, trying to bridge the gap between the two. And people like Tinyiko, certainly having crisscrossed the space, would have a far more better understanding of what it takes really to survive there. All right, now let's talk about youth development programs before I take a break. Is it time? Perhaps we do have programs all over the show, but one need to perhaps ask a question here, Tinyiko, as to whether these programs need to be tweaked a little bit so that they are aligned with the current realities. It looks like a lot of youth development programs that we have certainly missing the point a little bit, in a sense that I would have expected those programs to impact the joblessness around the youth space. If you're going to have the numbers increasing in the way they are, even if we do have youth development programs and institutions whose purpose is to specifically try and fight against that, I'm tempted to believe we might be missing the point somewhere. In terms of the programs that we have, are they aligned with the current challenges and the need that a young person would need now in order to survive the current turbulent environment?
Most of them, I would say yes, because for instance, right now, even from high school, the Department of Education has introduced robotics. Organizations and institutions are introducing entrepreneurship. And these are the skills that we actually need, right? Skills building. But when it comes, if you're asking of the trends that are on TikTok, then it's a different story, because the algorithm of TikTok does not align with the algorithm, or it does. It's very far beyond, or it's very far from the algorithm of China. That what you see when you're looking, the Chinese, when they see their TikTok, they see learning, they see development, they see youth development, they see children doing stuff. But South African, you see someone is standing on their head and they're doing this and this and that. So the trends, I wouldn't say they align, but then with the institutions and the education system, they are trying they're trying to mend with the current situations, or the current struggles, or the problems, or concerns that have been raised, that there's unemployment and youth are not empowered to be entrepreneurs. So but they're there.
All right, we will take a quick break. Maybe mull over this particular question. Where are we missing the point in terms of perhaps your experience, having matched your knowledge and expertise against the best in the world? You'd know where we are lacking and where we need to close the gaps in order for us to have a fully developed youth that is quite productive and future fit. Mull over that question as we take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into that. If you want to engage with the show, you give us a WhatsApp on 0123829257. Take a quick break. We are back after this. Welcome back from a very quick ad break. Get those questions in, get that comment in on 0123829257. Remember, we are also coming to you live on our Facebook page. It's TUTFM 96.2. Of course, on both Twitter, X now, and Instagram, we are TUTFM _ 96.2. All right, let's get back to our conversation now. And on the line to us is Tinyiko Mabale, who's the founder and executive director at iMentorU Foundation. Mentoring is quite an important space. We'll get into that at the latter stage of the show. But before I took a break, I left a question on your table in terms of you having to mull over it, and it was simply around where we are lacking in order to produce youth that is ready for the world of work in which they are going to get uncertain and very, very much protean, ever changing in its very own nature. Where are we lacking in terms of the gaps that you may have identified?
Okay, so as I said, we're not really lacking much, because when you said I've worked with other countries, countries that, compared to the countries that we are in partnerships with, I feel like South Africa is doing better. Kenya is kind of a little bit better when it comes to technology, but then they're still taking a lot that South Africans are not even taking on. The only thing that we are trying to do now as well is to have a programs exchange with partnerships with Kenya, so that they can help us with technology, because we lack knowledge in technology most of the time. We do have some resources in technology, but we don't know how to utilize them. We don't know how to utilize them. There's a lack of mental health support to so many young people. You see someone crying, you say they are dramatic. Other countries, they don't even say such things. They make sure that your mental health is number one priority, whether you are young or you're old. Another thing, it could be mentorship. There's a lot of people that don't know that there are people that can mentor them, and there are people that can actually mentor people, but they don't want to share the knowledge. They know a lot. They know a lot, but then they be like, you know what? I don't want this person to be better than me. So we lack sharing. We like sharing information. We don't want to share information because we don't want to see someone else being better than you know. So with me, if you would ask me why did I start the organization, is because when I only got to have someone to mentor me when I was already starting my organization. But before, I never had anybody to be like sitting down with me and guide me through life and through education. I had to figure it out by myself. So there's a lot of gaps. We can talk about a lot of gaps. We can talk about in what you call quality education and access. There's no access to education, especially free education. It's still, they can say NSFAS. There's a lot of students that are beneficiaries of NSFAS, but they still cry. They struggle a lot. So there's a lot of issues. There's a lot, but then compared to the countries that we are in partnerships with, to be honest with you, I feel like South Africa, we are just ignorant.
Sure, ignorant. Perhaps that's a very strong statement to make.
Yeah, I feel like, I'm sorry if it offends a lot of people that are wearing the shoes, but then I feel like we are, because we do have, there's TikTok. TikTok also has a platform where you can make money. You become your own entrepreneur, or you become your own business person. But people don't use TikTok for that. They use TikTok for funny stuff, just to trend. You understand? So there's a lot of YouTube also. A lot of people make money. You check people from other countries, they're making a lot of money. They're driving a lot of big cars, but we don't utilize YouTube for such things. Sorry. So it's just that thing of we're not utilizing these resources to the best of our abilities.
But we do have those resources. In fact, Tinyiko is telling us, in comparison to our African counterparts or brothers in this case, and global or world counterparts, we are up there with the best. Perhaps the problem he's saying, and has apologized profusely for that, is ignorance, he's saying. All right, I'd like to hear from the youth, though, especially youth for whom these youth development programs are designed, whether you feel it is missing the mark, whether you feel it is in any way not accommodating you, and whether you'd like to have a question or a proposal in terms of how you feel a program that caters for you should look like. Those are the conversations we'd like to have here on this particular platform. It's Plug a Graduate. We're moving into the mentorship space, and oftentimes than not, when we get into that space, I've always wondered, you saying you haven't had the opportunity to be walked through the journey. You have to, as you said, figure it out yourself, which is where the issue of mentorship comes in. Part and parcel of our discussion here today is how important is mentorship, and how different is it, for example, to coaching?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
All right. is how important is mentorship? Let me keep it crisp and short. Is how important is mentorship, the space in which you operate, and how different is it to coaching, for example?
So with mentorship, it is very important because it helps in developing, in developing the person as a whole.
Yeah.
Whether it could be when it's more of a developmental relationship that you're creating between you as a mentor and your mentee.
Yeah.
Whereby coaching is to talk to a person and tell them that, you see, this is what you're gonna do and this is how you can do it,
Yes.
and then you let them do it. But then with mentorship, you go through the journey with the person. You
Mm-hmm.
go through the journey with the person, you follow up with them, so you create a relationship with that person. Whereas in coaching, you're just coaching the person so that they win, but then if they don't win, they have to come back to you again, and you do the same thing. It probably would be a loop of you repeating the same thing. If the person is not even interested, you'll probably not even win when it comes to them succeeding. But then with mentorship, they'll probably be able to, get to where they are because you're holding their hand.
All right. Please send those questions in. I see some of the questions have come in, and with the time that is left for us, I'd like you to, Tinyiko, address some of the questions that a lot of people feel we may have not touched on. And we have a question here from Lisiba Makowe, who's from MRES. And the question is, how does the iMentor Foundation select mentors for its programs, and what qualities are you looking for in potential mentors?
When we select mentors, we look into what career or what course are you doing. The courses that you're doing, because we focus more on when we're assigning the mentors or when we're selecting mentors,
Yeah.
we assign them to students who are in colleges or who are in high school or primary schools.
Yeah.
So for you to be a mentor, mostly volunteering with us, is we look at the course that you're doing and your career journey. What are you more interested in? And then we also look into what have you done or what do you wish to do. Some of the people is based on the businesses. If you have a certain business that you are running and you've been doing so well, then can you mentor other people? But the criteria are not so strict. We're not strict when it comes to selections. We just want to know that you are dedicated and you have the passion for what you are doing.
All right. Now, here's another one from Donald Mudikwana from Block BB, who's asking, in what ways does iMentorU collaborate with schools, community organizations, or other entities to enhance its impact?
We partner or we collaborate with institutions for upskilling as an upskilling partnership. So we do upskilling web or adoption. We adopt schools. When it comes to upskilling, we partner with the institutions to take students from the institutions and give them the opportunities such as voluntary work, the skills, the programs that we do, or the mentorship that we offer, such as entrepreneurship, digital marketing, digital literacy, and the exposure or the networking that we have with other partners. When it comes to adoption, we adopt schools such as primary schools and high schools, whereby we now offer the programs that we have, such as educational support, career mentorship and training, STEAM education, which is science, technology, and programming and robotics. And then we also offer community services such as donations. We donate to the learners. We do recycling and waste management with substance use programs. We are in partnership with COSAP, and we do skills development such as counseling. We do training like entrepreneurship, so that they focus on themselves, not the drugs anymore, but while COSAP is doing their job.
Right. And then we have another one from Nemukula Funzo, who's asking here, in fact, started by saying he wanted to know why South African people are losing jobs because of technology, but the countries that are the ones who created those technologies are the ones who are benefiting. So the question is, where are we failing as the country? Is it about the leadership or the poor quality of education?
It's I don't know how to answer that one, but let me try by saying that, you see, when
Try
I
and
think you
fashion
asked
in an
me,
answer.
yeah, you asked me before, and I did say that people have been, our country, or we, us as South Africans, we've been warned about for IR,
Yeah.
but then we did not pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm.
we we were like, this won't do anything. While those countries that are developing, they were preparing themselves.
Yes.
So I feel like it also with the institutions, they don't prepare us. They don't prepare
Mm-hmm.
us that we are teaching you this, but then it's going to change. That's why I believe in teach someone what they want to know, not what you want them to know.
Right, and that is why earlier on I was asking as to how do we make sure that our institutions of higher learning take this into cognizance as well, so that the students that we let out into the market are aware of what really the market is looking for. I thought that was a very, very important question there for me. But let's get to Kabelo Malope's question before we take a quick turn. Tsidiso Malaji from Outrageville, thank you very much for sending that question in, and listen, stay tight. That question will be answered. Austin Mukwen as well from Hammanskraal in Temba. Please stay tight. But the question from Kabelo Malope from WRES seemed to ask what future plans or initiative does your foundation have in the pipeline for further support of youth development?
So the plan now, for now, we are just a non-profit organization that even when we have programs, our programs are that they are not accredited. But
Yeah.
the future plans is to have programs that are accredited, and these programs will be accessible to by any young people that cannot afford. And
Right.
also, other future plans is to have our own facilities. It won't be really an institution, but then a program, an organization that offers programs to the youth in different aspects, because we have about 6 pillars.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
within all our pillars, we don't want it to be a college, or we don't want it to be a university, but then we want it to be an organization that offers programs and mentorship. When you come into the programs, you would know that this is what I'm focusing on, and this is how I'm going to succeed in it.
All right. In conversation with us, of course, founder and chief executive officer of iMentorU Foundation, and none other than Tinyiko Mabale, who's joining us on the line. And we're exploring quite a significant topic here is youth development and mentorship. That against the backdrop of some rising youth unemployment, this is a pertinent discussion to have. We are TUT FM 96.2. We amplify voices and empower life. This is Plug a Graduate. We come through to you every Wednesday between the hour 19:30 and 1900. Let's take a quick turn. We're back after this. It will be only safe to acknowledge those as well listening to us worldwide on www.tutfm96.2.co.za. All right, let's get back to the mentorship part. There's one part I wanted to explore, because the issue of mentorship is creeping its head oftentimes than not in our conversation, suggesting its significance in this current era. Now, is there anything like a bad mentor? How do you choose your mentor? How do I decide? Because I've had people saying, well, mentorship didn't really have any impact in my growth. I felt it didn't work for me. Is there anything like a bad mentor, and how do I choose a good mentor, if any exists at all?
So let's say you come to me and say you want me to be your mentor.
Yes.
You probably already know what you want to do. You just
Sure.
want me to guide you. You want me to be there to support you, right?
Yeah.
So what is more important is you understanding what you want to achieve. What is important to me is making sure that I'm there for you. But
Right.
they could be a bad mentor because I would lack engagement with you. So I don't really, follow up to whatever that we
Mm-hmm.
are
Yeah.
engaging on. Maybe I could be self-centered and I could be controlling.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that is identified as a bad mentor. And also,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much. Every time you come to me, you ask me a question, and I say I don't know. That way, it discourages you to actually want to learn from me.
Yeah.
And some would have unethical behaviors, that like instead of me being your mentor, now we are more friends. So I
Yes.
can just do anything. And also, it also, if I'm having bad attitude or negative attitude, what are you going to learn from there? If I'm not
Yes.
listening to you, or maybe I'm being competitive to you, just like I said, there are a lot of people that have experiences, and they have a lot of knowledge, but they can't share because they don't want other people to be better than them. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll be more jealous, and they'll be more competitive to say, no, I've taught you this. Now you are bigger than me. You cannot be bigger than me. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. And also, some they don't understand the goals of a mentorship. When you come to me, it's like you tell me what you want, and I actually don't understand. I just go with whatever I believe that is right.
Right.
So yeah, I would say yes, there could be a bad mentorship because your experience will be very bad. Now you are discouraged. There's nothing
Mm.
that you feel like it's going well with you.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get to these two questions, of course, that are coming through. And let me appreciate those who have sent the questions. If you want to also have your question asked here, of course, you can send that on 0123829257. We have at least 10 minutes or so left on the show before we wrap up. Let's get to Tidi Somalaji's question, who's out in Atteridgeville. And the question is, what role do youth mentorship play in addressing broader societal issues such as inequality and access to education? It's a broad question.
So what role does mentorship play in?
In broader societal issues such as inequality and access to education.
So with mentorship, like I said, it's more of guiding and also sharing the knowledge with other people. Uh,
Mhm.
uh, what it does is it opens the minds in the youth. So within the society, if there's you or there's five young people that have a mentor, they now get to understand the difference between leadership, leadership that is more into a male and female, who can be a leader between a male and a female. That person that is more of a good mentor would
Yeah.
actually advise you where to go, what to do, and how to do it. So it plays a very bigger role in a society, because now you go back to your society and you understand how to respect certain aspects. You understand how to respect certain people, and you also understand where to go when you need something, a certain resources or certain information, because you have someone that is guiding you on how to get into that. But other than that, I know there's an organization that focuses on boy child.
Yeah.
They're focusing on mentoring boy child because they don't have father figures. I feel like such mentorship is also playing a very good or an important role in the society, because the moment they're mentoring young children who are boys, it eliminates a lot of crime,
Yeah.
substance use, and also abuses to children and women. So the boys, they grow up understanding what is good how to be a good man, what to do when you need to be a good man, and as well as becoming a good leader as well. So there's a lot of there's different mentorship. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
some
Yeah.
people want to be mentored because they want to have their businesses. Some people are mentored because they want to be good men or good
Mm-hmm.
women. And some people want to be mentors because they want to be good leaders.
Right. And then Austin Mokoena from Hammanskraal in Temba is asking, what are some common misconceptions about youth mentorship that you encountered, and how do you address those?
There's been few, but I wouldn't say there's been a lot of misconception, but then it would be people coming personally. It would be someone that you know that you're mentoring them, and they're not interested in exactly getting the opportunities that you are giving them. And sometimes it's assigning a mentor to young people who is not even interested in guiding them. So there's a lot of things, but then I wouldn't mention more.
Having spoken about the need for understanding between the mentor and the mentee, what do I tell my mentor? What do I tell you if I feel, for example, that you are going off the rail, that your mentoring is not getting me to where I want to go? What do I say, especially if you are so bossy, like you said, and a control freak?
What do you say? So that this is one of the it's under our guidelines. So whenever we recruit mentors, we take them through a guideline of mentorship, whereby they need to understand the beneficiaries, the selections of mentorship, and all that. And one thing that we tell them, we have a do's and don't do's. The do's and don't do's, which is do not assume that your mentees are clueless about things. Mentees can also have so much knowledge than you. So that's what we always encourage our mentors. So what you can do is, instead of, remember, if you still need that person, unless you are putting that on a review while there's a review session or a review assessments, maybe you can just put that, this person is not listening to me and all that. But not to be rude, you can just have a sit down with your mentor, let them listen to you. But if they don't want to listen to you, then that person is not taking you anywhere.
Sure. And before I let you go, how do people get hold of you or the iMentorU Foundation if they are looking for that mentorship, or in any case, the kind of opportunities that you sometimes dish out there? Is there any way of getting hold of you at all for the two aforementioned aspects?
For iMentorU Foundation, I hope the marketing team did not change anything here because if we wake up and people have changed stuff. In all the social media platforms, it's iMentorU Foundation. So it's I, mentor, and then the letter U, not Y-U, not Y-U or U. It's iMentorU Foundation. And then if they want to maybe send emails, they can send to info@imentorufoundation.org.za. For those who would like to volunteer with us, we are still in a process of recruiting volunteers anyway. So they can send their resumes and maybe letters. If you want to do will or work integrated learning, or you want to do an internship from your institution, you can send your resume and the letter to volunteer@imentorufoundation.org.za. Those who prefer calls and they say no, emails don't work well, you don't reply to emails, then they can call our landline, which is 087-265-9927, or they can send a WhatsApp to 079-060-6891. So what they do, when they send a WhatsApp message, it will ask which organization or which company they need to interact with, which is iMentorU Foundation. So they just select the organization, then we'll know that the person will want to communicate with us via in regard with iMentorU Foundation.
There you go. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Tinyiko, for your time. It's always been quite an enriching conversation. Let's hope we are able to have more and more conversation throughout the year. Thank you so much for creating time and space for us here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Obakeng. Have a great evening and enjoy yourself.
There you go. That is Tinyiko on the line to assist. Tinyiko Mabale, of course, founder and executive director at iMentorU Foundation. Quite an important conversation there.
The Groundbreakers, Mondays to Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. on TUT FM.